Que lo que Knicks fans, welcome to episode 61 of Knicks fans Wallin. It's the off season, so it's been kind of dead. So we've been kind of chilling. Still, I'm in Madison Square Garden though. We back to MSG. A lot of talk, a lot to unpack. Rumors, draft. It's just so much to say. So I got the guys over here with me. Don Juan, how you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feels good to be back. It's been a minute, since the guys got together and just let loose the Knicks talk, man. It's been a minute, but glad to be back. It's baseball season right now, so it's not too pleasant out in New York. I'll tell you that. But we out here dealing with wildfires, smoke, and Yankees losing, and just everyday life in New York, man. But it's good to be alive and enjoying the weather. It's getting warm out here, man. It's about to be a good summer, about to be an interesting off season. I'll tell you that. But I can't wait.
Don,
A lot to unfold during today's episode, so I'm looking forward to that. Though, what's going on, fellas?
yeah, Don Juan, man, it sound a little depressed. So I'm glad that we on the show chopping it up, man. It said wildfires, Yankees.
Hey, it's been crazy out in the city, man. It's been crazy, man.
Yeah,
But
but we're getting the warm weather, and we're back talking Knicks NBA draft coming up 1 week away. So lots to talk about. But Zebo, man, how you doing?
Yo, my boys, man, I miss y'all, man. It's been weird, watching these playoffs and all that. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets, they won.
Mm-hmm.
Quick side note, we did bust their ass in their home, in their home
hey,
court. So, I guess
home
I
court
guess
and the
you can call
garden.
it you can call us the co-champs in a way since we did,
I
we
I
went
I
to
I,
Say
Denver.
that,
So
say that.
I second that. I second that for sure. So let's get right into it, fellas. There's a lot to unpack. So let's talk about some new rules that are coming up into the NBA this year. And with new rules, they affect every team. So obviously they affect the Knicks. So next year, there's gonna be kind of a hard cap going on where 179 million is quote unquote the second apron that you do not want to touch because there comes a lot of pain. You can't do certain trades. You don't have access to your mid-level exception. It gets messy. It gets messy. So let's look at the Knicks book, Don Juan, if you got it there. Let's look up the Knicks books and see how the Knicks looking because this new rule, man, it's gonna affect every team, and every team is gonna be aggressive this year, I think, because they have to get their books in order for next year. So teams like the Clippers, they have a very high payroll and they got eliminated in the first round. What are they gonna do? A team like there's so many teams, man, and Boston gotta make a decision with Brown and Tatum. I think they're gonna go with Brown all the time. They're gonna definitely re-sign Jalen Brown, but it's gonna get messy. Even a team like Milwaukee, I think, they got the big contract in Giannis. They got Middleton, gotta get paid. Drew Holiday gotta get paid. So this is gonna be an aggressive trade line. So as Don Juan here cooks up, Zebo, what you thinking about any teams that you feel like they are worried about um, touching that second apron next year?
yeah, bro. I think the biggest team is the Warriors, right? Because they
Yeah,
obviously the
well,
ones that they honestly, I think they made this deal exactly because of teams like the Warriors, teams like the Clippers. I mean, any team that's tried creating like a big three, a big four. So, I think obviously like those teams, Lakers too, trying to add, right now they're trying to add Kyrie to their, to Anthony Davis and LeBron. So I think it affects teams that are looking to create a big three, big four for a championship. So I think those teams, and then obviously us too, man. Like it does affect us because right now this is the window we do have to take advantage of, especially with Jalen Brunson, especially with the steal of a contract we had Jalen Brunson on right now, because you have to think about it. Julius Randle in a year, he's up for a contract.
not
You
a
have
year.
a year. It's a not no. Oh yeah. I mean, even two. But look, even in 2 years, once it starts kicking in, like he's obviously gonna want a bigger contract. He's gonna want more money than what he's making now. If he if he improves the way I think he's gonna improve. So
Oh
and
man.
with RJ and also with RJ, look, his deal starts kicking in next year, and
Mhm.
that goes up to 30 million. And so I think it just makes it more of an emphasis like on just of us taking advantage of this window we got with Jalen Brunson, because I think once his contract is up, for us to be paying three players at an excess of like 30 mil, it's just not gonna happen. And so it's gonna affect the star players. It's also gonna affect too, like they're gonna have to put more emphasis in the draft and getting players on really cheap contracts. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true all around. And Don Juan pulling it up right here. So yeah, let's look at it together. Everybody watching. Shout out to y'all. So here it is. So next year, thing looks far. I need to put my glasses to see this right here. So
It's a little tight there. I couldn't get it to the full screen, so I don't know if you want me to zoom in.
yeah, zoom in a little bit so I could check that out. But like Zebo mentioned, you got your big dog right there, Jalen Brunson. We going into 24. No, we're going to the 23-24 season. You got Jalen Brunson right there making 26 million. So I'm looking at next year. So the cap is 158, and that second apron is 179. So that's something, like I said, teams want to stay away. And the Knicks right now are 164 in, but this is not including the Josh Hart extension. So that's something we got to factor in there. So the Knicks, they're already over the first one. They're already over the salary cap. I mean, they're not in the first apron or second. They got a little bit of money to play with, but not much. So let me quickly go over this. Knicks got Brunson 26, Randall 25, and like Zebo mentioned, that RJ thing kicks in next year at 23. So that's your top three right there. That's your top three right there at about 80 something, like 83, a little bit more than that. So then you got the big contracts of Evan Fournier. He's still on the books, but he's an expiring. So that's going to be important. The Knicks also have a Derrick Rose. I thought the Knicks would rejected Derrick Rose, but the more I think about it, I think they're gonna take it, and I'll let you guys know why after I just read off one more name, Josh Hart. So he's here for 12.9. I think Josh Hart is getting up to 18, so that's gonna be up the books a little bit, and then quickly and Obi they extension eligible, but that's for next year. So Zebo, how do you think the Knicks look in this spot right here with the names that I read out? Like I said, your big three is 85 already. So now you only got, I said it earlier, you want to stay under that 179. You got three players already, and now you only got 100 million for seven other guys.
right. Now, yeah, and that, I mean I think that's what's going to be the challenge, is that you might have to sacrifice. You might have to you might have to be top heavy with your three, with you having three stars, and just essentially just having just really just honestly regular role players. Because the one thing with our team, and the one thing that we did have success over last year, is the fact that our role players did step up. They did step up for us during the season.
Not the
Obviously Quinn
playoff.
Grimes. No, no, but I mean, listen, bro. That again, what was the success we? I mean, what was the success? I feel like what was the highlight of our season? It obviously was the for us getting that that playoff seed, and how we and honestly how we improved during the season. And so yeah, they didn't step up for us during the playoffs, but I mean they definitely stepped up for us during the season, man. And honestly, they really, I don't want to say carried us, because
My
obviously it was
bad.
Jalen
People,
Brunson
I
and
don't, I don't want you to go down the rabbit hole of having a sexist. Stick to the
Nah,
cap.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, yeah, no, like I said, I mean, it's just we're gonna have to. They're gonna. I mean, the front office just has to make. They have to make a decision whether they want to be top heavy, or whether they want to just try to have two stars and just try to try to re-sign quickly to to a pretty to a decent deal, which I don't know if he has plans to
20
do that. And
million.
so
20
Derrick Rose
million.
is obviously somebody we're gonna have to put in a trade package. So yeah, I mean, yeah, bro, it's gonna be tough for us, but I mean, hopefully, again, this is where NBA players got to make the decision whether, okay, do I want to go to a winning position? I might get a little less, but I might have success, or should I just try to, make the bag somewhere and probably in a really bad team.
Debo,
So
Are you giving quickly 20 million?
yes,
Okay.
I'm giving.
Are you giving Josh Hart 18 million?
He might have to go down for me. He might have to. He might have to, bro.
But he said
He might
18
have to
mil,
sacrifice for us. He might have to. He might have to
18
take.
mils his number. 18 mils his
He
number.
gonna have to hold it down for the team, bro. He gonna have to hold it down for the
He-
game, bro. He might have to
all
do
right, so
that.
you basically saying the Knicks will
I
let.
will say though. Quickly did get injured. Now I don't know how serious the injury is, but he did perform pretty. He didn't perform as well in the playoffs. So again, his value might have diminished a little to the point where teams might be a little bit scared. So honestly, quickly might be the one that might have to take the that again he might have to take the L for the game. Like it
Mm,
just is what it is.
that's tough
So
to say.
so I mean honestly now that I think about it, I would give Josh Hart what he wants, that 18 million, and then quickly again
How much
if
you
we can
giving?
value,
How much you giving him?
I'll give him 15. I'll try to get them both
He's
at
hanging
15.
up the
Gee,
phone.
I'll try
that's
to give them both at
disrespectful.
15.
He's
Quickly's
hanging up.
out.
That's
Quickly's
not
leaving.
disrespect. That's not
That's
disrespectful,
disrespectful.
bro.
Quickly's
I don't think
leaving.
so.
Disrespectful.
I don't really
That's
think so.
disrespectful.
Quickly's leaving because of that.
Nah,
Quickly's
I don't
leaving.
think so.
Before I kick it to Don Juan,
I mean, where he wants to? I mean, but where is he gonna go? Like for real?
let me
Come
tell
on.
you, Tyler, you looking at players that are comparable to Quickly. Tyler Hero, six man
Jordan
of the
Poole.
year, he got paid. Jordan Poole, he got paid. You know, even RJ Barrett. You look at how many times they
No, but
Quickly,
see,
how many times,
but those are failed
bro,
contracts, though.
those
Do you
are
think?
three
I don't
players
think
that
teams are
got
gonna
paid last year. Those are
again,
three players.
but look how they perform. But look how they performed this year. I mean, Tyler
Tyler
Hero
Hero,
again. He
Tyler Hero played well. Tyler
he
Hero,
did play well, but Jordan Poole did not play well, and I don't think teams are not gonna make that mistake. I
RJ
don't think
Barrett
so.
played pretty
He
decent for
played.
his.
He played all right.
So
He
I
played
just think they're
okay.
gonna go into this compare, and 15 mil is disrespectful. But we'll go
15
back.
mil is disrespectful.
Let me give it to Don Juan here as you look at these books, Don Juan. How you feel like the Knicks should anything interesting of the new CBA?
Well, the thing is that the way this team is built is almost like they're gonna be built deep. Like they're gonna have a deep team. It's not gonna be just your regular two star team unless they make a trade, obviously. But the Knicks are almost gonna be constructed like a well balanced team if they continue to grow like they want to grow. But even how the league is playing now is just is gonna be a two-man team. You're gonna be limited to only two players. The Knicks being that we don't have no true superstars, we don't have that that we don't have that luxury that we have a superstar on our team. So we're
Now, yeah, we
forced
don't
to
got that
build this
legend. We don't
way.
got that
Obviously,
Joker.
there's gonna be people like a Quickly where we might have to overpay. Honestly, I think 20 is like it should be good enough, and even 18 for Josh Hart. The thing is that those are guys that you figure you're gonna build with, but everybody else is gonna be such. It's gonna be such a situation where it's gonna have to take a player to believe in your culture to sign with you. Because players at that point, you're forcing the middle class to decide like I'm gonna just play for a championship contender team. Why would I go for a team that's just kind of because I'm just settled. Everybody's gonna settle for like mid level contract.
It's gonna be RIP to the middle
Like
class.
the middle class is over. Like it's really gonna hit home there. But realistically, I there's gonna be ways around it where players are just gonna take shorter deals and end up on a bunch of teams. It's gonna be a bunch of journeymen because at the same time, like there's only so many guys that they could pay. Like you guys mentioned the Warriors earlier. Teams like that will never be able to be sustainable because that one guy is probably gonna jump ship. Like even the Suns, for instance, right now they got KD and Booker, but essentially they were forced to cut Chris Paul because they're trying to save money. Because at the end of the day, like these deals are gonna be crazy. Eventually, you're gonna see Aiden get traded because teams like that cannot extend after a certain amount of time because that CBA, the second apron is not only is going to tax you, but you're not going to be able to make a certain amount of moves during the off season. So you're going to want to avoid that. But I feel like with the way the Knicks are constructed, bearing a crazy move, I think that people are going to get paid, and we might just run it back because of that. But you still got to. as the Knicks, you have to be like on the phone, kind of be open to conversations. And I know there's been a lot of talk on Twitter, on ESPN about all these, rumored or players just getting linked to the Knicks. It's getting crazy, and the summer just started. Like all season, just getting warmed up. We have honestly haven't even heard any draft talk because of how crazy the off season is looking like right now.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. That you make a good point, and you made a great point about the middle class, man. It's gonna be over for the middle class. And listen, right now the Knicks, they look pretty good. They look pretty good because you got a star player in Jalen Brunson, and you're paying him about 30 million, maybe not 30, maybe 20 plus million. He should be in the 50s,
And to
probably,
descending.
that next contract. So this is why I think, fellas, how many times have I said this on the show? The Knicks have to make a decision between RJ and Julius. I mean, you just have to. You can't have those two guys making close to $30 million, especially not in this new CBA. Guys like Quickly, guys like Josh Hart too. I love Josh Hart. He really brought hustle to the Knicks, and I said this to, I think it was Zebo last week. He is the best defensive, the best rebounding guard maybe in the league. I mean, you can easily say that. So you need that toughness and that grit, and especially in Tibbs' system. But can you afford him? And can you afford Quickly? Another player that I really really like. Quickly, he was closing games over RJ Barrett towards the end of the season. And that's why
It
when Zebo
was
said 15 million, I feel like he's looking at RJ money, if not more than RJ money, because he's gonna come like, listen, I know you guys value me more than RJ Barrett. We saw it during the season. We saw it last year. You was throwing RJ in there. You wasn't really trying to fund the deal around IQ. You know what I mean? So I think that he's gonna want to get paid too. So the Knicks are in a good spot, but it can get ugly fast. So that's why we're gonna get into this show. We're gonna get into this topic a little later. But when you talk about running it back, yeah, it's cool they can do that, but it's gonna get spicy fast. It's gonna get real spicy for the Knicks very soon because these guys gotta get paid. So that new CBA, man, I don't know. The players look like they got swindled. Yeah, they get 50-50%, but a lot of players are going to be losing money. Don Juan made a
a
great
fact.
point. There's going to be a lot of journeyman because why would I sign for 4 years when I could get two and reevaluate my market?
Yeah,
Somebody like
Jordan, there's one thing.
Bruce Brown, he might leave the Nuggets. They just can't pay him.
Facts.
Yeah,
That might be a good thing though. It might bring up the competitive level in the league.
I mean,
A
that's why
lot of
they
people
made
have
it.
been signing
That's
these
why they
long
made
term
it.
deals.
Yeah,
They sign these long term deals, and it might seem like a lot, but they kind of coast. And we've heard plenty of other shows where players, like player shows, where they're talking about the competitive level in the game, and they're diminishing it. Like they're like, players get to this level and they just become, they just either settle or just become washed. Like how
yeah,
many players are highly spoken about, like, yo, in high school that player was crazy, and then right now it's like,
Zion.
yeah. Yo,
damn,
bro, and
nah.
just
But
real
I
quick
feel like
too. I
Zion,
mean,
you can still, nah, Zion, come on, you can't disrespect Zion.
Oh no,
You
but
can
I'm
say
just saying,
you can say Cam Reddish,
in high
like
school, you thought Zion was gonna be like the next, big thing, and this man, he blew up to 300 pounds. That's settling,
he
right?
is
That's
the
the
next big thing, literally.
that's the point you made, bro. That's the point you made. But yeah, I like Zion, but I know we're gonna talk Zion in a few. Zebo, what you have to say, Sam, real quick?
oh no, yeah. Just I mean, bro, it's listen, bro. Miami made it to the finals with six undrafted players, bro. Like they
Eh,
like
that's
it's like I said before, they just have to. I just think the front office just has to make a more better emphasis to like finding those gems like within the draft, G League, whatever it is. Because I'll
yeah,
be listen, man.
every team.
No shade to Quinn Grimes, Deuce McBride, Isaiah Hartenstein, like the guys in our bench. But again, Miami Heat found legit better players than those in the G League. Again, undrafted, so I mean it's possible. But they
Don't
just got
violate
front
my man,
office just has to do their thing.
Don't violate grounds, man. I'm the ground. I'm almost on grounds half time, man. I
I
really,
don't know,
I
man.
really believe
I
it.
don't know.
There's a lot because what Zebo said is like, Our players never been there, but half of the Miami team, if not more, 2/3 of the team, been to the playoffs consistently.
Yeah,
A lot of these
and
guys on the Knicks,
that's
this is their
that's a
first
that's
time
a
there.
Mm,
that's a thing to Miami and a shade to the
Not
Knicks.
to make excuses and nothing, but
But it's true.
at the end
Playoffs,
of the day, it was a hard fought fight, but none of our guys have ever been in that position where Miami, everybody literally on that team up and down
that's
were
true. But
literally
before
in
the
the
series
playoffs
started,
consistently.
though, nah, it's true. But before the series started, though, we were saying like, yo, we're gonna win this because we
No, we
legit thought
did.
our role players are way
we
better
didn't
than
know
Miami.
But
we didn't know
we're basing it
it
off the
was gonna
season
be
too.
trash.
That's
Or
true.
Rams would be trash. But let's not go down that. We keep going down. We keep trying to go down that rabbit hole, but I keep dragging us back out because gotta stick to the topic and let's stick to trade rumors now, God. The Knicks, like Don Juan mentioned, have been linked to literally everybody. Chris Paul, who don't want Chris Paul? Bradley Beal, Carl Anthony Towns, Zach Levine. The list goes on and on. Even a little Zion Williamson name been hearing out there, with his. I saw a post yesterday that said he got somebody pregnant, told this porn star to put everything on Twitter just to lower his value to come to the Knicks. So
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, so let's see what adult film stars. Sorry,
Talk
sorry.
about reach.
But let's stick to the point, and I want to bring out to you guys um a name that interests you, and I want you guys to give me a potential deal for that person. Zebo, I'm gonna start with you, man. What you think? Who's somebody that interests you, possibly, and then give me a trade package for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, listen, man, you guys know I've been looking, I've been scouting this guy. I've been dying for him to come to the Knicks for a few years. I feel like we should have pulled the trigger a few years back, but we didn't. That's fine. But I'm gonna say my boy Zach Levine, man.
Okay.
The smooth. I just feel like with Zach Levine, he has that Aaron Gordon. He has that Aaron Gordon in him, where he's obviously been the number one option on a team that's just their foundation is just not it right now. So I feel like if you bring Levine in. I mean, my trade package it would essentially be Zach Levine, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Derrick Rose, and a first round pick. With for Chicago, obviously they got RJ Barrett. They got a younger guy in there to put with DeMar Rosen. Again, he's a guy. Honestly, I'll be honest. I'm a little. I'm. Hold on, sorry, I'm going crazy right now in the background. Y'all still hear me?
Yeah, no, we don't hear the siren.
Perfect. Yeah. So now I think I did just put in RJ there with Chicago with DeMar DeRozan, a veteran there, 20-point scorer. They had Derrick Rose, who's an expiring contract. He's from again same team. I don't know if he's gonna retire, but for him to retire in Chicago, that'd actually be perfect for him. Chicago gets that first round pick, and we get the score we've been wanting. So and they do get Obi Toppin. They get a young guy in there. Obviously he still has a lot to improve on, but they do get a young guy in there. So yeah, that's my trade package. You bring in Levine in,
Zach
we got our score.
Levine, Zach Levine next year makes 40 million. 24-25 makes 43 million. 25-26 makes 45 million, and then has a player option for 48, basically 49 million. So he's making a lot of money. But
He
Zebo,
is.
what if Chicago, they want RJ, they'll take the D Rose farewell story, they'll take a young player in Obi. What if they want three first round picks and one protected? Because that Donovan Mitchell went for five first round picks. Zach Levine, they might hold him in that regard. So what if they want three picks, a little bit less than the Donovan Mitchell, which is three picks and one protected? Would
including
you?
RJ, including RJ, Obi, and Rose.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
not
I
doing
think
that.
it's too. It's too much. I mean,
Okay.
I'll be honest. Like I said before, I think they should have pulled the trigger on him a few years back. But I think now, I think Chicago, obviously, right now, I think they're in a position right now where they want to be in a rebuild mode. But if they're able to get a young they're able to get a young player in there with the first round pick. I think that's something they definitely would rather want. So. But for them to get three first round picks from us, no, I don't think Zach Levine is as much as I do like him. I don't think he's worth that many picks.
All right, Zebo going Going for the trade package for Zach Levine. Hey,
Uh,
I would. I don't know about that package though.
He's
I'm not.
smooth, man.
He's
I mean,
cool.
listen, man, Obi. I mean, listen, man. Oh, I'll be honest. The decision was gonna be made on Obi this summer. I
No,
think
no,
we
I
could
don't
all
care about
agree.
the
Obi. Obi's
decision
in
is
all my
made.
trade packages this year.
I mean, RJ. Listen, man. RJ's just not.
Yeah. All right.
I'm still not. Again,
That's
I think there's
respectable.
still room to improve, but
That's
we do
respectable.
get the score we needed, man. And
Yeah.
I think a
How
reunion with
about
Tibbs
that
is exactly
defense
what he
though?
needs.
That Jalen Brunson, Zach Levine defense. That's gonna be
I
pretty
think
bad.
this is where no, I know you're right, but I think this is where the second reunion with Tibbs. I think Zach Levine being a little older, noticing that right now you talk about the money he's going to start making. That's why we do need to appreciate this window that we do have with Jalen Brunson right now. So I think him being a little older, recognizing that there is a sense of urgency to win right now in New York, I think he's gonna fall down. I think the defense will get better. The offense, he doesn't necessarily have to carry the team because he still will have Randall. He still has Jalen Brunson there to make the game way easier for him. I mean, we saw he honestly thrived with DeMar DeRozan there because it did take a little bit of the offensive load off, and so he just had to be a shooter, which is something that we desperately need right now. So. Yeah, bro. I mean, I think we get the score we need. The defense might go down a little bit, but I think the effort, everything else will be there. And even if we don't have it for the full 80 games, we still gonna be straight because we still have Jalen Brunson, we still have Julius Randle, which is something, and we'll still have some of the core again. We don't know what's gonna happen with quickly, but we still have Grimes in there. We still have people to pick up the slack. So
All right, Z.
Man,
I like
a lot of good points. I got no counter to that trade because I feel like that's it. 3 picks was like my cutoff point too, man. I'm not gonna lie.
it. Okay, so
3 picks is my cutoff point because at the
so
same time,
let's talk about
there
your
is worries with a guy like
team.
Zach Levine with the injuries and whatnot. Granted, I think it's overhyped and to a certain extent, but he just helps so much on all the edges.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, where we might give up a little bit on defense, but we're gonna score more often than not. And I think that's
exactly.
probably like the little bit of the difference on that trade, which I like. I like even though Zach Levine, when you first mentioned the Zebo, you was on it for a minute. You mentioned it, and I was real hesitant. Not gonna lie, but this season Zach played essentially. I think he played 75, 77 games.
Hmm.
That's a lot for
yeah.
somebody that's like apparently doesn't have an ACL. Like, granted, it's just one season, but the season before he missed a couple back-to-back games just because he needed rest. So he probably would have played 70 some games as well. So
Right.
we got to put things into perspective. But speaking about players that are injury prone, I don't know, man. I've kind of been sweetening up to certain players, man. I know we've been talking about Bill and all this and Cat, but I feel like the Knicks, man, is a gamble. But what you guys think about trading for Zion? I've been leaning towards doing a little gamble and maybe giving up a few of our picks for the guy, especially buying on a guy that's at his all-time low, essentially trade value. I mean, you got the Pelicans. Granted, there's been rumors that they've been trying to use Zion as the bait for the third pick. There's been connections, or the Pelicans been linked to Scoot, right?
Oh, Juan, you live near Dykeman. What do you think when Zion
Yo,
goes?
I was just gonna say that, bro.
I mean, bro,
You gonna have to
I
put a
think you
shot
gotta.
collar on. You have to put a collar
Not
on
gonna lie,
him,
I'm
bro.
not gonna lie. It's not gonna be easy for the man in Dykeman. I tell you that, man. It's not gonna be easy.
Nah.
But when you got a team where first of all, this is like one of the reasons why I wouldn't mind them coming over here,
Wait.
and I
Before
feel
you
like
give
we
your
get them
reasons,
right.
give us your trade package, then explain your reason. Give us your trade package for Zion.
Nah, let me explain my reason, because then I could convince you about giving up the
Nah,
package.
I want to hear the package, and then I can already be on high mode because I want to see how much you want to give up for Zion.
I'm not honestly. It might be too low. It might be too low.
All right, all
Is
right.
Randall, McBride, and 2 protected first round picks?
So with no unprotected.
Nah, no
All right.
unprotected.
So give us the
No,
reason.
but it'll be like top 4 pick. Like literally not even lottery protected. It'll have to be like a top 4, another one top 10 type of situation. Because at the end of the day, it needs to pan out. And I still, even without Randall, I mean, even without Zion, we gonna give the people what they want, which is Obi. Obi's still gonna be there. So if Zion breaks his leg, God forbid, but they got Obi to take over, right? That's what y'all wanted, Knicks fans. Y'all wanted to see Obi come through. There's an
I
opportunity
don't
for
want
Obi to come
I
through as well. I'm not
uh,
banking on that, but that's
uh,
the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you got Zion being a top 5 player in the league, being a guy that's gonna make us a contender. The man is only 22 years old. It's been a bad situation now in New Orleans, man. He didn't want to be there in the first place. Yeah, it wasn't a rumor that when the Pelicans got the first pick in the lottery, they felt some type of way. Well, he felt some type of way. That's already been spoken. JJ Redick said he's not a good teammate. He's not invested in the franchise. Like the guy's been wanting to get out of there for a minute. I'm not saying that he's horny and doing whatever he's doing because he wants to go to the Knicks or lower
yo,
his value. But there's a lot of clues that tell me he don't want to be there. And he's been real horny about being a Knick. I tell you that. That boy been blushing his ass off talking about
Oh man,
MSG
y'all
and
going
being on the Knicks.
crazy right there.
So
yo, Triple M. Let me talk my shit real quick, cause see, cause I'm gonna tell you what I think is wrong with the deal, and it's something that like we're not even gonna get to the whole person, like to the whole personal shit, whatever's going on with him. But I do want to mention something that she did mention in those Twitter when she started going crazy on Twitter. I do want to mention something that she did say that really did caught my eye, and the reason why I don't really want to do the trade. She mentioned that he's still fat. Like she did mention that, yo. She did mention that, yo.
she definitely
I
said
tried I tried helping your fat ass, and you still like, no, like you big as hell right now. And so listen, like I just know he's not. I don't think he's 100% invested. Like if he's still like, listen, he hasn't played. We got to think about this. We haven't seen Zion play since like what was it, November, December that he went
we
out.
have, but and this is the thing
And
though.
so that's crazy to me. The fact that you're still not in shape after like 8 months of not playing, like that's
No, that's a
honestly,
fact.
bro,
That's
that's
a
a
fact.
really, really, really bad sign. So
That's a
that's
fact.
why I'm just all out, bro. Like if you're not really taking care of yourself like that, and while you're injured, while everybody else is playing, that's a bad sign to me. So
So so so
I would give him way less if that's the case.
so what's your counter offer? And I know you excluding Randall because you love Julius over here. So and the New Orleans don't even want Randall. They let him go from New Orleans for free for nothing. But what's your counter offer to Don Juan on a Zion package?
So I think it would have to include. I think it would have to include Julius. I don't see them. I don't see them wanting it because they have to replace that forward spot. It would have to be Julius, D Rose, and probably two protective picks. I mean, again, I'm sorry, I'm not banking on
I
him, bro.
mean,
So
bro,
I would give up. I would give. Now that I'm
Okay,
thinking about it, I would
that's
actually give up
exactly what
less.
what I
Oh,
said.
yeah.
All
Just
right,
not
Don Juan.
enough
Let me give
euros.
you this
Honestly.
scenario. Let me give you this
Oh
scenario right here.
man.
I
They
just
don't
don't
want
think I don't think they'll go for one.
I also
For one
go
protected
ahead, go
is
ahead.
just
Nah, but
crazy. Like
put up.
they're not that stupid. Come
what if
on,
they
we're
ask
not.
for quickly Grimes and two? They gonna what are y'all talking about protected picks? They're gonna want unprotected picks. The kid is 22 years old, a two-time All-Star already, average 26
That's
10, and he's 22 years old. So they gonna you're gonna have to trade a lot for Zion. Y'all not being realistic right now.
but
So
I
I'm
mean I'm
giving
being realistic. I'm
Randall.
being real. But I ain't being real. I ain't being realistic as to
they
what
trying to
everybody
trade
else is
Zion for
saying.
they trying to trade Zion for the third overall pick to get Scoot Henderson. They're not gonna take a
Right, right.
from here.
I get
And
I
they're
get that.
sending a
But you think
first
they're
for
gonna
him.
get that right now? You think they're
But
gonna get that? They're not getting
They
listen,
that.
bro.
might. They
The
might
the
from New
I,
Orleans,
I'll be
but,
honest.
but,
I
but
don't.
problem.
Portland is building around Dame. If they want to get
Yeah, yeah.
Zion, that's
They
nice.
they they'll risk it. They'll risk it.
They'll risk
They'll
it.
risk it. Which is
Zion,
why I feel like
Is
if
it
a team
worth the
like that
risk
can risk
though? I
it,
mean,
the
I'll be
Knicks could
honest.
do the
That's a
same.
we're not.
that's
We're
a
not.
big
Hold
risk to
up though,
take right
bro.
now.
This is not
First of all,
Portland
it's a
fans'
bit
problem.
disrespectful that Randall. You talk about like if Randall is not like a valuable piece. First of all, the
No, he
Hornets,
is.
not the Hornets, the Pelicans, all their players are always hurt. There's always something missing. So why wouldn't they trade somebody that's literally could be a staple day in and day out? That's gonna play 80 some games, maybe 75 at min. That he's an asset. And then you're talking about adding a young piece to it plus some picks. and where you just had a guy for 4 years and he played maybe a season in all 4 years. He's played probably 80 some games. So it is a risk on both sides. But the Pelicans right now need some stability, so I feel like they could see Randall at some value too. Randall at the end of the day too. He's also a two-time All-Star, but he's more of a guy that maybe he's reached his peak, and you know what you're getting from him, but he's gonna give you that 82 games instead of 20.
Yeah, I mean, look,
But I'm willing to roll the dice. I hope for the best. You feel me? 22 years old. We gotta.
I think y'all being a little unrealistic with your package, and I'm not going down the Randall hole right now. I'm not going down the Randall hole, but I think that he's very
Ah, yeah,
valuable.
no Randall slander here. We're not
No,
doing
he's
that
very
today.
valuable to our team, but other teams might not see the whole value, and I think that's why the Knicks are pretty much sticking with Randall. But yeah, let's not go down the Randall hole
Nah, and it's
right
true.
now.
It's true. Which is why maybe a more realistic deal would probably be RJ getting traded as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
Randall.
And listen, the rumor is that they're trying to get the third overall pick if the Hornets pass on Scoop. So you talking about the third pick or some protected picks and Julius Randle? I
Nah,
think
there's a
they're
big
going
difference. You got
with
like your
yeah,
future point guard of
they're gonna go with that
your
with that.
franchise point guard.
Let me kick it to my trade scenario, fellas, real quick, man. So I'm going with the person who's in the hot rumor mill right now, who just entered the rumor mill, and Bradley Beal.
Mm,
Now, I read y'all Zach Levine's contract. I hope y'all ready to hear Bradley Beal's contract. First
jeez,
of
bro,
all,
come on.
he's the only player in the league with a no trade clause. That means wherever that man wants to go, he's gonna go. If he says trade me to the Shanghai Sharks because he wants to play in China, that's where that man is going. So he's the only player with that. That's already a red flag there. Then he's 30 years old. He's turning 30 years old this year. He makes 46 million this year, 50 million the year after that, 53 million the year after that. And when that man is 33 years old, he has a player option to make 57
Yo,
million
yo,
dollars.
bro, but why are you telling us all this? Like you say, wait, you say you want to pick him up?
Yeah, let me talk. Let me go.
Let
It's
me hear. Let me hear.
Man,
Let
hold
me
on, I
hear.
gotta hear
it,
this.
it's one of you guys mentioned it earlier where it's we have this player in Jalen Brunson who's getting very underpaid. So for the next 2 years, I want the Knicks to be uber aggressive because I feel like they have this. Come on, even though the new CBA is tricky. So, despite Bradley Beal making all this money and all this no trade clause, I'm gonna give you my offer that I think could be realistic, which is Evan Fournier, 18 million. I'll see you later. Thank you. Derrick Rose, 15 million. Thank you, D Rose. You're a legend. They'll probably buy you out and you'll get to play for a contending team. I told you guys, Obi Toppin is in all my trade packages this year, so I'm giving them Obi. And I'm giving back their protected pick. You know that we have their protected pick. I'm gonna be like, here, this is more valuable to you guys. You guys are restarting anyways. That has no value to it. And I'm giving our lottery protected pick next year because I think next year we'll get Dallas pick. I hope we get Dallas pick.
For
They
real.
can't. They can't. So we already have a first round pick in our holster. You can give them ours. Hopefully we're not a lottery pick. And I think that's it, fellas. I realistically think that gets it done. And now you keep this core piece of Brunson, RJ, Grimes, quickly, even Randall. And fellas, you still let's say this Bradley Beal thing doesn't really work out. It's gonna be heavy on the book, but you still got all these assets to trade for somebody else. So if somebody like Joel Embiid next year he's fed up, like yo, get me out of here. You still have all these young players. You still have all these draft picks. So what I'm saying is that we're gonna talk about this after, but the Bradley Beal doesn't let everything go. We've seen trade packages let everything go. The Rudy Gobert package, even the team we beat last year, Donovan Mitchell package. It really helped hurt their depth. I think we could get Bradley Beal in here, bona fide starter, bona fide scorer, excuse me. Next to Brunson, another bona fide scorer. That defense is gonna be pretty shaky. I haven't really thought about the defense yet, but You know, you can do it. And Miami exposed us last year because we had no second scorer. You know, Julius and Randall struggled, and it was just JB. You bring in Bradley B here, he's a dog. He's gonna get you buckets. That's one thing that man's gonna do, give you buckets. He's an underrated assist. He knows how to pass the ball. I had him in fantasy this year. Really helped me in assists. And shoots the three decently. I don't know if you guys have a counter offer for me or what y'all thinking about Bradley Beal after I just gave y'all a little sauce for him, man.
Well, the offer lets us keep our players where let's say he does get hurt because I feel like that's something that I'd probably be more worried about. If he was a guy that maybe even produced a little less but was there at least most of the season, I'll be okay with paying that. But the guy has been, he's getting older. You mentioned he's about to turn 30, and his last 2 years he's only played about 90 games in 2 years. So that's it.
Word.
I'm not sure if that's because of maybe the team. Maybe he's just checking out of the team. That's always the case, but he's also a guy that signed a long term contract and believed in them. I felt like as a player, you want a guy that's gonna show up every day. I haven't heard that he was sitting out just cause, but like that's 90 games. That's almost you're almost playing one whole season in 2 years. Like it's tough to pull that off, especially in New York, bro. We gonna trade for this guy. He's gonna sit out half the season. We don't want no Allen Houston, especially not for the next 4 or 5 years with Bradley Beal. So that's always the worry with me. I'll probably pass, but it would work with this team being that everybody is still like don't have to get paid yet. That would just be a decision that we have to make crazy is going to be tough to make 3 years later because we have the money to match. And
Yeah.
then but personally, I think IQ would probably have to be involved in the trading and not Obi.
Okay.
And IQ is from around the area, so
That's
almost be like a team that's willing to pay that max money that we were talking about earlier.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And he'll be a starter. 'Cause I think they were starting Monte Morris this year.
Yeah.
Facts.
I don't know.
Yeah, nah. I mean, what if they ask for three first? What if they ask for three first round picks? They asked
Uh,
for three because if they pretty much I know from what everyone is reporting they're saying that they don't want that the value of what they're asking for is not something crazy, but I feel like they're gonna be in rebuild mode. I think Kyle Kuzma is gonna walk, and I think KP is not gonna be there. So if
Nah,
that's the
nah, nah.
case, would you give them up for three first round picks?
that's why I think I will hang up the phone because maybe Miami they might raise the price because they have a lot of they're so far rumored to be ahead of the pack. I'll take a Bradley Beal package if it means we get to keep all our assets because I'm still banking on somebody else. That's why
Mhm.
that's my only reason I'm interested in Bradley Beal because I'm still think the Knicks will have enough to throw at somebody else, and they have the nice contracts like an RJ Barrett, like a quickly if you pay him, that if a star is making 50 mil, you get those two players and you send them there. But that's three first round picks. I wouldn't do it either. That's my only package will be giving them two protected picks. One of them is theirs anyways, and if they
Yeah,
tank it, that doesn't have any value anyways.
Mhm.
right, right. Nah, yeah, you're right, bro. Nah, and honestly, I'm glad none of y'all picked Embiid for that same point that you did make. Is that obviously if we try trading for someone like Embiid, then we giving up the
Oh, I'm
farm for him.
trading
So,
everything for Embiid. I'm emptying the holster for Joel Embiid, man.
oh, now you bugging,
Yeah, no,
you
I'm
bugging.
doing it.
Bro, Joel Embiid just
I'm
won
a mute. I'm a
MVP.
mute for. I'm a mute for this one. I'm done. Nah,
He's a
I'm definitely not.
he's a arguably a three-time MVP. We just saw Nikola Jokic, somebody that Embiid battles all regular season. Listen, the playoffs has been tough for Embiid. I can't make excuses for that. He shrivels in the playoffs, but regular season, he hasn't been arguably the MVP for 3 straight years.
Definitely has. At least been in the conversation at least too. Like
He came in second the last 2 years, and he came in first this
first
year.
this year, yeah.
I don't know what Zebo's thinking, but
Nah, bro, listen. I saw an interview with Doc Rivers and Bill Simmons, and they spoke about the fact he spoke about the fact that there were days where he had to beg Joel Embiid to play during the regular season. I don't think you gotta beg a person like Jokic to actually play during the
Hey,
regular season.
what team just fired Doc Rivers?
The Sixers.
Feeling salty. He's feeling salty
He's
right now.
salty. He's
I
out
don't
here
know.
talking shit
He's
about
trying to
everybody.
talk shit,
Nah.
bro. I don't
But
think.
bro, but even getting 60 games out of him, you still want to bring, you still want to give up because you'll have to give up what? I mean, you
Everything, man. It doesn't matter as long as you keep Jalen Brunson, Joel Embiid, and Jalen Brunson, and you can have you running the three and me running the four. Man, I'm taking that. Don't want running the five small ball lineup. It doesn't matter. It's Joel Embiid. It's Joel Embiid. But let's not get there because then we're gonna go a whole different topic, man. I just want to end the show with a question that we basically talked about right now. Uh, I put up a tweet earlier today, um, and I kind of said, "This is the packages that the Knicks can go." You know, you got three ways right now. I feel like that the Knicks can go. They can go the Donovan Mitchell way, which we just talked about. You a player like Embiid or Lillard. I'm just throwing hypothetical. I'm not really getting fit, but a big time player like Donovan Mitchell last year. He's a top 20 player, so you're talking about a top 15, top 20 player that goes out. It's gonna cost everything. It's gonna cost a lot of picks. It's gonna cost all your depth. Do the Knicks go that way? Which they can. They can. They can trade the quickly the Grimes. You know they have a lot of nice pieces, and over. They have all their picks plus more. So they have that package that they can do. Or would you go the Bradley Beal, Carl Anthony Towns package? The Timberwolves are going to try to recoup some assets, but they're going to be limited because that contract is bad. You know, those are solid players. They won't require your whole depth, but they have terrible contracts, fellas. I talked about Bradley Beal has 58 million. I already told you that players they don't want to go over that second apron. Bradley Beal is going to account for 33% of your total payroll, so that's going to be tough. And Carl Anthony Towns too. It's going to be rough to build around that. So, but you're still going to have players on your team that you can either trade or do a lot. So, going to be a lot of shuffling, but the Knicks can go that way. Or fellas, they can run it back. You know, you sign quickly. You sign Josh Hart. They have the money line, middle line, tax mid player, excuse me, exception. You can get a MLE guy over here. They a lot of talk of Dante DiVincenzo, Jay Crowder, some names. We'll get into that later on in the off season. So you could go that way. So I want to go with you, Don Juan. What you think? Out of those three options, if you were standing right there in the crossroad, got three ways to go. Which way, Don Juan, are you walking?
I think we just going. I think running it back, man. I think running it back just for now. I think the options just are just like guys that they are gonna make us better. They are gonna make us better. Yeah, we spoke Zach, we spoke Beal, we spoke Zion, heck, Cat. A lot of these guys will make us better, but do they actually make us championship contenders? Personally, I don't believe that. So I think that I we don't have any picks this draft. Maybe we make some moves and get to this draft with some of the picks that we have next year, just because we have so many of them. But I think we hold out until maybe even trade deadline and see what's gonna happen then. At the end of the day, Fournier is still a player that's on the contract. We got Rose that his option could be picked up. We could use him as a trade bait later on. He doesn't need to be traded. Like I feel like if these assets aren't valued properly, that we're just gonna go right back, use that middle level exception for somebody that could be useful, address a lot of needs because this team is not perfect. But we saw what this team did in such a short time that I think that the front office is at least confident that if they miss out on any of these guys we spoke about, they're confident enough that they could still hold it down in the whole season because you know the season essentially turned up halfway when we got Josh Hart. That's when it really turned up. So imagine a whole season with Josh Hart bought in, a healthy Randall, healthy IQ. Like a lot of things could have been different. Even Brunson missed a couple games. Guys. RJ missed a few games. Like it wasn't the perfect season, but I think that based on what we saw, we could say like our team is good. Maybe we're not gonna be championship contenders yet, but we could hold out at least halfway through the season and see how things play out. Because then you never know. There's superstars that tomorrow might want to get traded. There's a lot of
Yeah,
superstars that they. I mean, KD for example, he signed the deal, and then next thing you know, he's requesting a trade. Like it's literally that's the NBA any given night in the superstar league. So
yeah.
I think that this class right here, we made a good. We all had some good offers, but we all sounded like we also we don't want to overpay because these guys aren't the guy. These are those second tier guys. Like obviously, there's a bigger. I think we got some second tier guys at least in discussion with Brunson and Randall. Like these are guys that are overlooked, but they could produce like these second tier guys. So personally, I think we take it back and try again in the trade deadline.
See, but I'm gonna pass you the question. Don Juan, great points all around. I'm gonna pass you the question. You got 3 rows to go to. Which way you going?
Bro. So I'm gonna run it back. Let me tell you why. So one of the things, bro, I learned a lot from these playoffs. Like first and foremost, for you to actually win the chip, bro, you need a legend. You need a legend. And listen, by the time we all dead, bro, Jokic is probably gonna be one of the top five like best players we probably ever seen in our lives.
Oh
So
wow.
that's one. Number two, depth depth in your team is key. Like for again, I spoke about this man earlier, but Aaron Gordon was literally the fourth best player on the team. And including that, they had KCP, who was an above average NBA player coming out the bench. You had Bruce Brown, who I spoke to you about Triple M. I'm like, yo, he's really good. Like he's like you told me he was only 6'4", but I'm like, damn, he plays like he's a small forward. And so, and even with Miami, I spoke about them earlier about them having 6 undrafted NBA players who legit, who all contributed well during the playoffs. Like, and so and then the last thing I learned was just patience, man. Like these teams are, again, Jokic has been in that Denver system for almost, for 6 years, 6, 7 years, I think. And Miami has been again. They've been in these positions where they've been in the playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals since since Jimmy Butler's been there, since the bubble, literally. So, and they've continued to stay on the same path with the same people, developing people. And so, I think again, I'm not. I'm again. I think we should run it back. I know that I've been the biggest RJ critic here, but I want to see one more year out of him. I think if we can see a bit, if we can see a bit of an improvement, I'm not even talking like a big jump. I'm just talking about consistency with your jump shot. Again, if all you do is go left, that's fine. As long as you're making smart plays going left, I'm good with it. And again, what was the issue with Randall, bro? It was all mental, nothing physical, nothing. We know when he's on it, he's one of the best players on the floor. And so and the fact that we do get to keep that depth, which is like I said before, one of the keys for us to, for us to actually making the playoffs. If we can keep those role players, yeah, I mean, why not? Because again, I just from all the guys that are currently available or that are in trade rumors right now, I don't think none of those guys are touching Jokic. So I don't. So again, I think even bringing them on the team, I mean, if we can get to the finals, great. But I mean, again, we still have Boston, we still have Milwaukee that I think is going to be, again, they're gonna be smelling from blood. Like they're gonna be smelling from blood. Like we have Boston too. That they're obviously, I think they're going to resign Jalen. They're going to be there. They're going to be right there too. We don't know what's going to happen with Philly. So and Denver's going to be here for a few years. And so yeah, I just don't think the players we have. I don't think the players right now in the trade market right now are like are legends. So nah, I'm good. Let's just run it back. I think another year with the same team, I think we'll be better.
All right, we got the running back guys over here. Uh, Hugo and Don Juan, but I'm not running it back. I'm not running it back because, fellas, we talked about it. This new CBA is coming. It's coming and it's coming fast. And you just gotta be aggressive right now when you have Jalen Brunson, maybe the best value contract in the league, and you just got to get him some help. You can't try to fill in the roster because we talked about earlier in the episode the Knicks salary cap looks good, their books look good, but it can get ugly fast. So you got to make a decision with some of these players, and the CBA is very top heavy. So you need these top heavy guys. You know, you have already have Jalen Brunson. You got to try to bring somebody else, and if you can keep that core group and trade them for something else, now you got 3 4 guys over here already top heavy. So when you're giving me those three choices, I'm trading for the guy in Beal or Cat. Listen, I don't love their contract. That's definitely a negative, and and the defense is a concern. Don't get me wrong, but if you get to keep most of your picks and keep and get rid of only one young guy and still have all these other young guys to package and get somebody else. So now you got Jalen Brunson, A, B, and you know what I mean. So I think the Knicks have to be aggressive. They're just I don't think they can really run it back because this is already year 4 for this regime. You got Quickly, you got Obi, they contract eligible. You saw last year what the Wizards got for Hachimura. I think it was like 3 second round pick because they knew that they didn't want to pay him. So if you just run it back and wait till the trade deadline, teams are gonna be like, we know you don't want to pay Obi. We're not giving you anything good for Obi because we know you don't want to pay him. And that's basically what happened to the Wizards. The Wizards was like, hey, this young guy, 10th overall pick, I think was Ryu, a bucket,
Yeah,
went to the Lakers, a desperate team trying to get a first round. And the Lakers like, we know you don't want to pay him. We'll give you 3 second round picks. Take it or leave it. They're like,
yeah.
ah,
Lakers came up.
yeah,
Lakers came
we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So you talk about an Obi, you talk about it quickly. Teams are gonna be they're not gonna give you packages like they'll give you this summer. So I see your point, fellas. Don't get me wrong, because you do wait another year, and who knows, maybe a Shea Gilgeous, or Giannis is like, yo, get me out. It's the NBA. Don Juan mentioned it. It's a soap opera league. Every year, somebody
somebody just
becomes
wants to get
available,
out.
but I just can't bank on that. And honestly, yes, I am banking on that because I'm keeping most of my pieces and just adding a bad contract, which you can get around. You can get around. It's gonna be way harder to get around with the new CBA, but I don't know. I guess I haven't learned my lessons from the Allen Houston and the Mellows contract that we just been trying to forever get. The Joakim Noah contract, man, that was on our books for like
Now
10 years.
that one's
That
terrible.
was like it got stretched out for like another 4 years, man. Oh man, I guess I haven't learned my lesson, fellas, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah,
But
we're pretty close though. So that's the reality of it. We made it to second round. Obviously, we met our match, but
yeah,
we saw the problems that need to be addressed, and clearly an upgrade is needed to be a
100
contender.
badly. Badly needed because teams are getting better. Teams are getting better. Teams are getting healthier. So if you run it back,
The only thing I would say though about that is that even though teams are getting better, they also have some decisions to make because
yeah,
of the CBA. So some of the talent might, spread out a little bit. Maybe it might not happen this first year, maybe not even the second year. But best believe third, fourth year, like that
I
team
agree.
like the Warriors might make a sacrifice for another year to sustain that success. But by next year, they probably gonna, have to trim the edges and see, make some tough decisions where a team like even Boston that they're about to have two max guys in Jalen Brown and Tatum. Like they might have to decide like what the hell they're gonna do.
Grant Williams, they probably not gonna be able to sign Grant
I mean,
Williams.
your boy wants 20 mil, so he's definitely not.
Some team will give it to him. I think
Hey, hey, I mean, hey,
Um,
you never sell yourself short, so he got to do what he got to do.
he's wild.
It's a business, but 20 mil, like, hey, come on now. The CBA said, brother, literally, if it wasn't for the CBA, he probably gets paid that.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Ah man, fellas, this is gonna be an exciting off season. I'm expecting a lot of moves, man. I don't know about y'all. I'm expecting a crazy off season. So we'll see. We'll see. We're locked in, man. A couple important dates coming up. June 22nd is the NBA draft. So exactly 1 week from recording the show.
Yes,
And
sir.
then June 30th is the start of NBA free agency. 2 weeks away. This is when my iPhone screen time goes to like 8 hours now. I'm disgusted when I get a notification on Sunday morning like you just spent 10 hours on the screen. I'm like, hey, 7 of them hours is on Twitter, just scrolling up in there.
Some Moj bombs, and then then
Emoji.
that random person with a the sources said.
Oh, and then that random ball sack sports who tricks everybody into retweeting everything. But fellas, let's get up out of here, man. Any last words before we depart?
Hey, well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to give us thumbs up for sure, man. It's gonna be a, like Triple M said, it's gonna be a fun off season. Just cause at the end of the day, the Knicks are relevant. The Knicks have like their fortune in their hand right now. They could pull off any move. They could keep their hands in their pocket and not show out. They could also show out, and it's good to be in a position like this when a team just made it to the second round. We the future's bright and there's nothing but up right now, man. It feels good, man. All season, glad that the season's over because I was tired of watching that championship game. But nonetheless, man, the future's bright for us Knicks, and it's gonna be a fun season. So make sure you keep tuning in. Make sure to follow, like I said, subscribe, like the channel. Cause
Yes,
we
sir.
going
Yes.
up. Let's go Knicks, man.
Nah, it's a fact, man. Yeah, nah, like Don Juan said, it's gonna be a good off season. You know, me and the guys, we definitely cooking for more content. Up this summer, obviously the off season, the draft is coming up too. I know we don't got no picks right now, but I feel like the Knicks, I feel like that's definitely gonna be a day where where trades are really gonna start happening. So yeah, man, keep showing love and let's get it, man. Cause let's get it to a good summer.
Yeah, let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Thank y'all for watching, supporting. It's the off season, so it's definitely sometimes it's like what do we even talk about, fellas? What do we even talk about? But definitely always good to chop it up with my guys, Don Juan and
Facts.
Zebo, and just interacting, man. Make sure to comment. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how y'all feel about our fake trade packages, and so forth. But you already know the vibes, man. Knicks fans, wild, and Triple M, Don Juan, Zebo, saying salute and